Mike, the guys were back in camp this week after a fallow week last week. How are the boys shaping up heading into the Jersey game?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they earned their week off, and they were back in Monday, and I think there was a little bit of an adjustment Monday morning after a week off, as there always is. But as the week's gone on, they've applied themselves, they've got on with their work, and they've got their heads back where they need to get them, and fully focused on what's going to be a very tough journey to Jersey this weekend.
Do you have to guard against complacency in the camp? Because outside the camp, a lot of people are saying London Scottish have done enough, they're already in the top four, they've already joined Bristol and Worcester in the playoff places. In camp, I presume you won't be saying that until it's mathematically certain that we finish in the top four.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we need to be kind of show humility, but we also need to respect where we are. You know, we're close, but we're not there, and we need to ensure that we stay focused and continue to win games to ensure that we get there. So first and foremost, we've got to maintain a habit, maintain a work ethic and a focus, and stay on task. And you know, that's the challenge ahead. We've talked big about this week about ensuring that we get momentum, that we get bits and pieces right to ensure that we're professional on and off the pitch. We respect one another on and off the pitch, and how we go about our business, and we take nothing for granted, and we need to raise our standards, not maintain them, if we want to continue momentum in this season.
The weather's beginning to pick up. It's a nice sunny day today. It should be okay this weekend as well. Should that be in London Scottish's favour in terms of the sun and the way they like to play our game?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think what we're developing here is a variation and a flexibility in our game. You know, we know we've got the racehorses out wide. Everybody knows we've got the racehorses out wide, but they also know we're more than capable of playing that tight, that hard, that driving game. I think what the weather and the hard pitches allow us to do is to maximise our opportunity to play whichever way we choose to play, and that makes us then a far more dangerous proposition to play against. And you know, that's what hopefully the firm ground will bring. We'll have to see whether the Jersey pitch allows us to do that or not. But nonetheless, as spring comes upon us, then it is good news for London Scottish.
Looking ahead to Jersey this weekend, I think they've got the fourth meanest defence in the league. They're in a funny position in the Championship, whereas I think they're 8 points behind the playoff places, but they also need to keep an eye on the teams below them. They don't lose too many matches by a large margin, so it's going to be tough this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be immensely tough. You know, going to Jersey as well. You know, they worked us hard here. You know, and we pulled away towards the end, and you know, I think they've got a formidable pack. They've got an immense driving game. They look to use their pack and try and kind of overpower the opposition and unleash their drive and then play off it. So first and foremost, we've got to stop their drive and contain their forwards. If we can do that, then we give ourselves an opportunity. But they are a mean defence. They don't give a lot away, especially at home, and they're a gritty outfit. And I'm sure they'll be very, very confident on their home ground. And we need to ensure that we are fully focused on what we need to do. We need to go out there and play our game and play the tactics that we need to do in order to unsettle them, but also impose ourselves on them.
There's plenty of London Scottish supporters heading over to Jersey this weekend, so you'll be hoping to give them something to cheer about.
Yeah, we are. I mean, you know, it's always it was a great weekend last year in Jersey, and you know, we tend to get some good travelling support to come to Jersey. I'm not sure why, but you know, nonetheless, you know, we've got to do the job first and foremost, and we need to respect the opposition that we're playing against too. As you say, they're 8 points behind the playoffs, so they're more than capable of getting themselves into that party, and a win on Saturday for them certainly does get them a step closer. So it is a big game for both teams, and one that we're fully aware that we need to prepare properly for. We need to ensure that our detail is correct, and that, you know, whilst they've got a mean defence, we need to impose our defensive discipline and continue to build on our defensive game, which has been improving over the last 4 or 5 weeks ourselves. So, you know, lots to go on this game on Saturday.
We're approaching the business end of the season. Has there been a notch up in intensity? Could you feel the excitement in the camp? I
think, you know, there's I suppose we're gauging an equilibrium at the moment, a base level, and you know, of what our minimum standards are as we get near the business end of the season. Because, you know, what we've done today in terms of standards, both on the pitch and off the pitch, has to be the minimum standards. We've got to build, we've got to improve, we've got to demand more of each other on and off the pitch, and stretch those kind of boundaries in order to get that every last little bit out of each of one of us, if we want to kind of kick on in this season. So there's a little bit of that going on, and will continue to be going on over the next couple of weeks as we move forward. But you know, everybody's keen to be a part of trying to make this a memorable season.
Looking at the team news for this weekend, a couple of new faces. First start for Lewis Ludlow, he came on against Moseley, did well for half an hour. Kieran Moffat comes in as well, he's starting beside Matt Hawke in midfield as well. Are you excited to see how they go? Yeah, I am. I mean, you know, Lewis, I thought, you know, made a real impact from the bench. You know, we were talked about, he's a young Lewis Moody, and you know, it's a big statement, but fair play to him. He kind of showed good signs that he could be a young Lewis Moody. So he's earned his opportunity for a start. He's stepped up. You know, as we've said, if a young man steps up, age is not an issue, and he's certainly proving that he's got every opportunity to assert himself in a very difficult tie. Kieran's joined the club just before the transfer deadline, and you know, he's earned his start from the way he's gone about his training this week, and we're interested to see him. He's a clever player on the ball, but also he's a clever defender. So hopefully he's got to settle in, he's got to find his feet. Obviously he's still learning how we play, what we play, our calls, etc. But he's a clever player, and no doubt there will be a few moments where he makes the odd mistake as he tries to adjust, but he's a good rugby player. That's very, very clear from watching him train, and he doesn't seem to get fazed by a lot, so I'm sure he'll settle in perfectly. And Guy Armitage has also joined us from London Irish on loan until the end of the season, so we've suddenly got a bit of depth in the back division. We have, you know. I mean, we're unfortunate in the fact, well, not unfortunate, I suppose it's fortunate. Harry Sloan has, you know, maintained his selection and starting for Harlequins, having, you know, been playing for us consistently the last 5 or 6 weeks. So we've got to wish him well in his game. But as a consequence as well, yeah, with Guy Armitage joining us, it just gives us another option. He's, you know, he's a big boy, big midfield back that plays slightly differently to what we've got. So he's, you know, been integrated into the group as well this week. You know, he arrived kind of midweek, and you know, he'll be fighting for contention come next league game. So we're starting to get that enthusiasm, that competitive that we need across the whole of the squad. And we're not the biggest squad we know, but we just need competition. You only need 2 people competing for one spot, and all of a sudden you've got real competition. If we can harness that, we can, you know, make that fierce, and we get gritty, we get resilient, and we compete in the right way, then, you know, we could have quite a, you know, a special little firepower of squad here, you know, as we move into the business end of the season. And hopefully Peter Lydon can back up his impressive performance against Moseley last month, which saw him nominated for the February Player of the Month award, which hopefully get voting, hopefully he can win that. But he did well against Moseley, came in after Dan Newton was suspended, so hopefully he goes well again. Yeah, I mean, you know, we're having to deal with the unfortunate suspension of Dan Newton, you know, something we fundamentally don't agree with, but, you know, you just got to ride it. But you know, fair play to Pete. He's been doing a great job at fullback, and I think part of that is why he's probably got that nomination. But he did make an outstanding contribution at fly half. Everybody will talk about his attacking game, but defensively he was first class in that game as well. And that's the important thing about, you know, playing in that fly half position. It's not only the decisions you make on the ball and with the ball, but it's also how you lead and how you bring up the line defensively, and he rose to that challenge, and hopefully he can back that up again. And it's going to be a stiffer test because he's got to go away from home now as a fly half. He's got to control the pitch with ball in hand, but he's also got to lead the line defensively and ensure that we ensure we're a difficult defensive team as well. So yeah, let's hope for good things from Pete Lydon, but the signs are good. And the injury front, it's been a frustrating season for Chevy Pennicock. I think he's still got his neck injury, so he's not available. And Max Maidment could be out for the season, is that right? Yeah, I mean, you know, we've had some terrible injuries the whole season. We've just seemed to get everybody back, and then we've had a slight knockback with Chevy. Hopefully we'll have him back in a couple of weeks, but we're just kind of waiting to see there. And then, you know, terrible luck for Max Maidment, who, you know, has made wonderful strides this season as a tight head, and was playing fantastically well. You know, very destructive at scrum time, aggressive, carrying the ball well, defensively doing what needed to be done, and just causing havoc around the pitch. But you know, he's out for the rest of the season, and he's going to be out for some months now.
and you know, obviously we wish him well and a speedy recovery, because he's a great rugby player, and to be fair, he's a good man as well, and he's a great bloke to have around the squad. So you know, it's unfortunate. It's part of the game, as we know, but you know, it's a shame for Max, who was going so well at the time.
We've got an experienced canny operator in Ben Prescott, though, who can come in.
Yeah, we have, and we're fortunate. We got Ben Prescott, we got Stuart Maguire. You know, that kind of, again, testament to how well Max was playing. It's the fact he was keeping those two guys out. But you know, that's the way that rugby works sometimes. Ben Prescott, we know, Wiley operates. Stuart Maguire, big man as well, and they're chomping at the bit to make a statement themselves. So they've got fire in their belly. And they're out on Saturday to make a statement, and that's great news for the rest of the squad, and hopefully that will continue to fire up the rest of the squad to be as competitive in every position, to drive our performance and ensure we have that grittiness, that resilience that we need as we get to the busiest end of the season.
All the best this weekend.
Yeah, thanks a lot.